Rice Changer, how do I hate thee? Let me count the ways in episode 63 of the Doofy Doo Talk Through of Shiren the Wanderer. Hi there, I am Doofy Doo, and this episode I'm going to continue talking about the most iconic monster in all of Shiren the Wanderer. It is of course the Rice Changer. Ho ho ho, look at this, I found a use for the antidote armband, oh! I still take damage. Oh, that armband is so worthless. Last episode I got sidetracked talking about why I used to like Nintendo and why I'm probably gonna buy a Wii U in a week or two. And so I didn't really get to talk about the Rice Changer, which is what I was going to talk about. I wonder, I know the Armband of Calm doesn't protect against hypnosis. I was gonna show you, but it's not even worth it. I'll just tell you, because I don't want to take any big risks right now. You might think that the Armband of Calm would prevent hypnosis, but it does not. There is an item that does prevent hypnosis, but we will not find it until much, much, much later in this talk through. Much, 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 much later. Last episode I started talking about how roguelikes encourage you to explore, which is the whole point of the genre. And getting around the risk that the player might just decide to grind or scum, which is sort of grinding low-level enemies for loot until they're so powerful that the rest of the game is beaten with ease. And that's never really the case in Shiren the Wanderer because your level is not that essential. I mean, Skull Wraith, even if you're at level 99, Skull Wraith could potentially mess up your entire run if it rice balls you or paralyzes you and there are other enemies around that can destroy your items. So in that sense, Shiren prevents that by making enemies that are able to kill you regardless of your level. But the primary system to keep you exploring in Shiren is borrowed from the original Rogue, and it is the Hunger Clock. Most roguelikes have some form of Hunger Clock. Sometimes it's implemented well, sometimes not so well. I am not one of these roguelike addicts that plays every single roguelike and 7-day roguelike that ever comes out. I have fairly limited experience with roguelikes actually. But I have watched gameplay videos of quite a few, and there are a lot of Hunger Clocks that, look at that, another pitfall trap right by an armband. I think the game does that on purpose. If this run wasn't going so well, that would actually tick me off a little bit, but I have so many armbands, I'm almost relieved, like, whew, thank goodness I don't have to have another armband. There are a lot of roguelikes I've seen that have a Hunger Clock that catches a lot of newbies. I think Adam or however you pronounce it has a Hunger Clock that kills a lot of people just starting to play the game. But then once you learn a little bit about the game and you become sort of a intermediate skill level, it doesn't really bother you at all. It means almost nothing. And Shiren's Hunger Clock is not like that. You do die from hunger a little bit as a newbie because if you're not really used to the idea of a Hunger Clock. And that's important. You might wonder, how come that first town, the Bamboo Village, doesn't have an inn? It doesn't have an inn because the game wants you to have to deal with hunger. It wants to make hunger an issue. If they put an inn in that first town, oh my gosh! I never tested this armband. This is the Armband of Sight. This is officially the easiest Table Mountain run of all time. I will name it the Panopticonimo. A Panopticon is oh wait, I'm dyslexic. There we go. I think I'll make it feminine. Panopticonima. Panopticon is a prison where you can see all the prisoners. So it's one of those prisons with like a tower in the center and all the cells are open facing the center. Horrible idea, but very efficient. What was I talking about before this run became officially the easiest ever? This run is just like throwing itself at me now. You know, have some self-respect, Shiren the Wanderer. Don't just make yourself so available so easily. I'm gonna feel like a moron if I die during this run. Oh, if you are given these items and you can't beat this game, there's something seriously wrong. Although I could, of course, step on a rice ball trap and get killed by death angels really easily later on, so I shouldn't be so incredibly overconfident. But again, how is the death angel going to sneak up on me now that I have Panopticanima? Or Panopticonima? Fluffy bunny. Out of the way. I could knock back the fluffy bunny around the corner, but I think I'll just postpone the curse girl so she doesn't curse my armband of sight. I almost want... No. I must play for real. It is good that we have an armband of sight. I'll save it if I make it through this run, and then I won't have to find one later on, because I can use it to go through some of the harder bonus dungeons later on. Anyway, getting back to the hunger clock. Oh, these items are on an island. I'm not even going to bother with it. It is an issue. Hunger is an issue early on, so hunger kills some newbies, but it never really stops becoming an issue, and the rice changer is the perfect embodiment of that. You might think when you first find the rice changer, oh, this is great. My hunger issues are over. I'm just going to use the rice changer to make a bunch of rice balls. Another armband in this shop. Oh, and an Iron Shield +2. Wow, I'm going to buy the Iron Shield +2. Play this run for real, make it even easier. Because, speaking of hunger is going to be an issue for me. I was hoping there'd be a rice ball in this shop. And I am not going to go to the inn. Remember, I'm making this a no-inn run. So if I went to the inn here, that would help me out quite a bit, but I'm not going to. Fragile Edge, I would buy if I had extra money. If you can curse a Fragile Edge, it's a really good weapon, because it doesn't weaken when it's cursed. But I'm not going to bother with it this time. Just going to get this Iron Shield. You might think when you first find the rice changer, oh, my hungry days are over. I'm going to make all the rice balls in the world. And when you start out, sometimes if you can backtrack, you fill up some jars with rice balls. You're like, oh, every time I go out, I'm going to bring a jar of rice balls. And that does destroy the hunger clock for the main game somewhat. But you're eating up a lot of spaces in your inventory. And plus, if you play the game for real and you don't backtrack, which is the way it was originally intended to be played, if you let the rice changer rice change most of your items, you're actually making it harder to survive. So it's a balance, it's a give and take, you're kind of a risk reward. Sure, you won't starve if you transform that scroll of confusion into a rice ball, and you don't have any control really. I mean, you can put items on the ground, but the field bandit is there to make sure that's dangerous. You might actually get killed by a monster house because you let the rice change something really important that would have come in handy. So that teaches you, oh, items are super important. I'm sure I'm not starving now, but I'm dying because I have no items. And I really like that balance embodied by the rice changer. Fundamentally, Shiren is it's a resource management game, but it's also a risk management game, and I like to sum that up by changing the word resource to reward. Speaking of rewards, check in with sexy grandma. Hey, I don't have 2,000 gold, but I do have an incredible body. What do you say? How about 2 minutes with the chosen one? You like what you see? Alright, it's your loss, grandma. Man, she shot me down again, Pants Weasel. Can't believe it. Oh, they're all saying something new. Yeah, you're the guy that didn't figure out the golden feathers were from the golden chicken. I like to sum up the resource management and risk management by calling it a risk-reward management game. You're managing risks, but you're also managing reward, and that balance is embodied perfectly in the rice changer. Are you gonna let it rice changer items? Are you gonna put your items on the ground and risk a field bandit coming in, and then you're gonna have to really do some serious tactical thinking to avoid having all your items weedified. Another important aspect of Shiren is the balance of strategic thinking with tactical thinking. Strategy is more long-term. In StarCraft, it would be analogous to the macro game, unit production, resource production. Tactical thinking is more unit-to-unit battles. The micro game in StarCraft would be more tactics. Hey, talk to Yabume. That's right, I am the chosen one. Again, though, the Rice Changer is a perfect illustration of the balance between these two elements. You're thinking tactically because the Rice Changer can rice change one of your items every turn, so every turn is important. But you're also thinking strategically, for the long term, how many rice balls do I need? Should I really let this Rice Changer rice change another item? And once again, we see that the Rice Changer perfectly encapsulates a core concept of Shiren the Wanderer. What a monster. Alright, this is the perfect place to save before I officially enter Table Mountain. Next episode, I will continue extolling the many virtues of the Rice Changer. I'll see you then. I need rice balls or I'm going to die. You other wanderers can't deny. When hand-rolled sushi's all over the place, you ought to stuff your face until you're full. 'Cause this game is tough, and 3 balls just weren't enough.
Don't just make yourself so available so easily.